All right, I watched the drama with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, so you know what to do. Sit down, relax, and let's chat. Now, I can tell you right now that there is in no universe, way, shape, or form that going into this movie, I would have thought, based off the trailer, that the worst thing that she would have ever done is what is revealed in this movie. It is the last thing I had written down. It is the last thing that was in my brain. It is the last thing that anyone would have ever possibly thought about was the worst thing she has ever done. Last thing. So, for those of you who do not know what the movie is about, the movie is about Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, their characters Charlie and Emma, who are getting ready. It is the week of their wedding. And they have a conversation with their two best friends who are also happen to be married. And they talk about how throughout their marriage, they have been so open and honest about everything. And one of the requirements was that they had said the worst thing they had ever done before they got married. That way, there's nothing that could be a possible surprise in their marriage. So they all decide to go through. Rachel says the worst thing that she's ever done is she locked a disabled kid in a closet and left him there overnight and didn't tell anybody about it. Mike says the worst thing that he ever did was shield his then girlfriend in front of a dog who was attacking them so he wouldn't get hurt. And Charlie said that the worst thing he has ever done is probably some cyberbullying that happened online. After all that, they then pan to Emma, and she says that she thought of doing a school shopping. And if none of you can really put those two and two together there, well, just go watch the movie and come back. So then the remainder of the movie is with Charlie trying to really comprehend and understand where she was coming from. Rachel gets really upset because her sister was handicapped in one of those situations. Mike doesn't really know how to feel. And Charlie obviously loves Emma so much that he just kind of wants to be there for her, but is really fighting with the demon of like, I can't stop thinking about this. Is she a really bad person? Charlie's going back and forth about not really knowing how to feel. But deep down, he knows that he wants to support Emma because she's not the person that she used to be, which I think is so fragile in these situations. See, when I was thinking about doing this review, I didn't really know how I was supposed to convey about whose side I really wanted to take. You know, on one end, I feel for Emma because she's not that person anymore, and nobody knew what type of situation that she was in when she thought about having these thoughts. But then if I side with Emma, am I saying that it's okay to have those thoughts? No, not really. It shouldn't be. But then I see Charlie's side of it where I'm like, I'm always going to think that something's going to happen. Like, I know she's not that person anymore, but the fact that she did think of it at some point is what's scary. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult, which is great. The movie does a fantastic job on really having the anxiety on you to be like, oh, whose side do you really side on here? You know what I mean? It's, do you love the person for who they are today, or do you judge them and not love them because of their past? And that is where you have to sit and be like, because up until this point, the partner has been everything that you want them to be. But now, because you found out information from 15 years ago, does it change the way that you look at them? I can tell you right now, going through the movie, Charlie is going through it. They have a mug at one point that says coffee or I'll shoot. He throws out. His physical relationship with her is dwindling because he's always thinking about it. She feels like she can't open up and trust, but also she doesn't really want to talk about it. One of the things that I can relate to in my personal life is I always want to break down the scenario and try to help. And I feel like Charlie tried to do that too. Sometimes you just want to be left alone. Sometimes you don't want to talk about it at all and you just want to move on. It was said, it was done, the situation was done, it was handled, whatever, move on. He was trying to figure out why she felt this way, how things could have changed. What could she have done to avoid that? When she just, in reality, on the week of her wedding, wanted to get through it. That's it. And because Charlie felt like he was the only one that thought he should love her for who she is today, he kept asking people for advice. And one of the people that he asked for his advice was his coworker. And through that, he got really upset and angry, started crying, and then for about 5 seconds, cheated on Emma, and then was like, what the hell am I doing? I shouldn't do this, and moved on. Rachel, at some point, ends up coming back around, like going to the wedding because Charlie convinces her to, with a kind of like a fabricated story on how Emma's neighbor passed away. As we keep going through it, we end up getting to the actual wedding. Charlie ends up going through with it. Emma ends up going through with it. Rachel's at the wedding. Rachel's kind of being a bitch about the whole situation because even when her parents, Emma's parents, are giving speeches to how wonderful of a kid she was, how much they loved her, how her activism for gun violence came about, which it did, which is why Emma didn't end up doing it in the first place. Rachel just kept laughing. She just kept going through it. And also, side note, Alana Hayim is a fantastic actress. I don't know where she came from in terms of like wanting to be in the acting world. Obviously, she has the music group with her sisters, which is great. But the fact that she's wanting to get into this world is great. I think she's done great. She's done this now in One Battle After Another that I've seen, and I think she was great in both. So anyways, Rachel's being a bitch. Her speech was very sarcastic and passive aggressive. After her speech, Emma obviously gets sick and tired of the situation. She goes to the bathroom and she ends up hearing Charlie's coworker, who at this point Emma doesn't know was the one that he cheated on her with. She overhears the fact that somebody's talking about a school shooting, and Emma gets frustrated, confronts Misha. Misha says she didn't hear anything about it, pulls Charlie into another room. Charlie thinks that Emma is talking about the cheating situation. He starts to give excuses for himself, but then she goes, no, I'm going to pull Misha into the room, even though Charlie has no idea that this is about the school shooting and not because of the cheating. So Misha comes into the room. She just starts spewing. Not even a sense of Emma to ask her a question about what's going on. She just goes, it was his idea. He was really upset. He kissed me. I promise it wasn't anything more than that. And Emma is mind blown. Then after that whole situation comes to a close, they go back out. Charlie gives his wedding speech about Emma, which she could care less about at this point because she obviously knows he cheated. And Charlie ends up diving into how like he messed up. He's so sorry. Why would he even cheat on Emma with somebody like Misha? Misha's boyfriend is there and he gets upset, goes up to Charlie, headbutts him in the face, and then it cuts to Charlie being at home, bloodied and battered. Now, before I go into the ending of this movie, I just want to make something perfectly clear. I love callbacks when they mean something. I love, especially in a scenario like this. Before all the chaos, Emma and Charlie were talking about how they wanted the end of their wedding to go and how they didn't really feel like they wanted to do this hoorah thing with everybody and get plastered. They really just wanted it to be them two. And Emma suggested going to the diner that they know, which is right by their place. Charlie was laughing at the idea, but thought it was cute. And as we go through the movie, obviously now with Charlie knowing about the school shooting, Emma hopes that they could just start over. She doesn't want to talk about it anymore. She just wants to start over. So she starts by sitting on the couch and saying, hi, my name is Emma. Nice to meet you. And they go through a whole introductory process. Charlie is not about it at all. Charlie ends up dismissing it, says he can't forget about it. It's still you. This is stupid. Why are we even trying to start over? Emma's just trying to really fix things. So fast forward to the end of the movie when Charlie's all bloodied and battered, he decides to go get some food and he goes to the diner. Once he orders his food and he sits down at his table, still looking like crap, he sees Emma walk in. Emma walks right by him, doesn't even say anything, orders her food, sits down. Charlie starts to express himself saying, Emma, I'm so sorry. And she says, hi, my name's Emma. What is your name? And he goes, what? And she goes, do you come here often? This is a great place. And Charlie starts to look at her and comes into it and says, hi, my name's Charlie. Nice to meet you. Yes, I come here. And the movie ends and pans out with them having dinner at the diner, reintroducing themselves. And I think that is a tremendous way to end the movie. I wish I could have seen what the aftermath was a bit, but I am so glad the movie ended the way that it did. I think it was a perfect way to end that movie amidst all the chaos that had happened beforehand. One thing I do want to point out is if you've watched the film, you'll notice that when they're having the flashbacks to Charlie getting headbutted in the face, Rachel is stepping up to Misha's boyfriend and screaming in his face like, what the hell is wrong with you? I can't believe you would do that. What the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Were you not just trying to sabotage the wedding 5 minutes ago during your speech? And now you're all for it and defensive? Like, what? That was a switch up I wasn't expecting. And I wish that part was explained. Other than that, it was fine. So I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I thought it was a great movie, even though my anxiety was through the roof the entire time. And I am very happy with how it was. It's the first A24 film in quite a minute, honestly, I have to say, that I've liked. So I'm very, aside from Marty Supreme, so I'm very happy with how this went. So now I ask you, viewers watching, do you love the person they are today, or do you judge them because of their past? That's my case in point.